such a fantastic audience, and I'm very grateful to be here and be among those sustainability leads that are leading the industry to make great things happen in our industry. So today I'm going to talk about energy traceability. It is a sort of a hidden topic within the sort of the large perspective of the sustainability topics that most of us are covering. And I want to deep dive into those topics and then explain to you how does it work. I mean, it is great to be in London and then experiencing a better condition than my home country, Sweden. So there are not so many of you that come to London to experience better conditions. So I can say it's just 10 degrees warmer here than in Stockholm. So yeah, I have that luxury to enjoy. So I normally buy my olive oils from the farms that I know exactly the exact olives that they come and make olive oils for the olive oils that I buy, basically. But then if you look at this lamp, if I just turn it on, it's hard to know what is the source of the energy consumption. We don't know that, and there is no consumers that they would have the ability to know that source of the energy consumption, basically. So that's a necessity, and then I want to describe more how olives and electricity in general, there would be some analogy, and then how the systems, they work together to make olives and energy to be traceable, basically. Maybe I forgot to say, my name is, I was struggling at some point of time to finish this sentence. Of course, my name is Ahmad Karnama, and I'm proud of my parents to give this name to me with absolute love and care. But at some point in time in my career, I realized that my name is just putting me way behind from someone to be simply called Adam. So I decided to adopt a business name to be called Adam. I mean, it is not a big compromise to think that I adopted a business nickname to be called Adam. I mean, that's sort of easy thing to do. But then it reveals the dark facts of our societies, basically, that we need to push more for sustainability, impact investments, and the sort of the diversity angle in our societies. And that's why I started Auburn Foundation, in which we are making impact investments, and we are building one school per country. So in the future, there won't be any Adam or Ahmad or Alice or Mari, Kumar, I don't know, Ju, that would feel a bit ashamed of their name, basically. So that's Auburn Foundation. We are making impact investments of that type. And then, I mean, we are also part of that foundation and impact investment. We are developing a Spiritual, which is the energy traceability platform, and we make energy a traceable product. And that's the main topic for today that I'm describing more to you and how this is going to work, basically. Why do we need energy to be traceable? Basically, it is the sort of the consumer right, and it is a demand from the consumers, I mean, from whatever glass of water that you buy, or the energy, to be something traceable and transparent. I mean, in the panel discussions today, we heard from the panelists that we see millennials or Gen Zs, there are more awareness about the source of the consumptions, basically. And then in energy, I mean, it is highly more important. We are talking about 73% of the total carbon emissions in the world, and it is a bit of shame. I can put it to the audience that we have here, all the sustainability leads, that we have lack of traceability for such an important topic, basically. I mean, I don't have to say the climate change. I mean, we are all in your sort of daily works. I mean, we have the scientific evidence, and then we all know that we need to address that. And then this is getting beyond that. I mean, we are getting to the carbon reporting era of CSRD and many other sort of regulatory aspects that make sustainability reporting to be mandatory. And then there are high requirements on the transparency and traceability, especially from the energy, on those sort of sustainability reporting as well. So, I mean, that makes the sort of the need for energy traceability. But we have a big challenge here. I mean, the challenge here is that we cannot tag electrons. I mean, that's the big challenge. I mean, can you just go ahead and find the electron and say that you are the nuclear electron and you are the solar electron, and then when you go to this home and then you have the claim that you have this sort of identity of the electrons? No, it's not working like this. The electrons goes to the grid and they just go over and then they just mix and then they just go to a home that the consumption would happen. So, I mean, we cannot tag, and then we need to live with that fact. Maybe, I don't think in my lifetime I would see a sort of a tag on the electrons, but then maybe in the future there would be such a system to do that. But then, yeah, we are talking about very, very far future, basically. That's why we need to have, I mean, we have the issue with trust, basically. And then the sort of the example that I told you about olive oil. I mean, I heard somewhere that the amount of olive oils in the market is way more than the actual olives in the market that you can extract oil. And then it is somehow for electricity, we have some challenge of the amount of renewables that are claimed to be, amount of electricity that is claimed to be renewables is more than the actual generation of the renewables. I mean, I don't put blames of the sort of someone on purpose sitting somewhere that I want to greenwash and say that my electricity is renewables. No, I mean, we have structural challenges. I mean, we have the sort of the lack of real systems that make this happen. And it's all about trust. I mean, trust is not something 0 and 1 binary. I mean, it is a sort of a fuzzy systems that you have levels of trust. I mean, you have 90%, I don't know, 80% or something like that. But we need to increase the trust in those sort of systems, basically. I mean, the systems that makes energy and olive probably traceable, we call it book and claim systems. How does it work? I mean, imagine someone wants to buy 200 kilograms of sustainable olives, imagine, or electricity, or 200 kilograms of the non-sustainable ones. And then the physical product that they buy, it might contain 300 kilograms of the non-sustainable ones. And then for the rest of 100 non-sustainable ones, sustainable products that they want to buy, they can buy credit or certificates for that. I know that you might feel dodgy, what's happening? I mean, is that sort of a right way to do that? Yes, I mean, that's the most advanced systems that we have in place to do that. It is a book and claim. You book the sort of the generation or the production of the olives, and then you sell the certificates from that sort of booking system to someone who wants to claim that specific source. That works for electricity as well. I mean, along the world, we have book and claim systems for EACs, Energy Attribute Certificates. Our colleague from Schneider mentioned a bit on her presentation about that. I mean, we have energy attribute certificates that are physically connected to the electricity generation from each specific source, and that certificates can be transferred to someone who wants to claim consuming that specific source. So it is always connected to a generation. And then, I mean, across the world, in Europe, we have guarantee of origin. In North America, it's called REC. I mean, we have IREX. Any part in Australia, we have a system in China. So there is a commonly accepted market structures for those energy certificates across the board. It is a huge market. I mean, we did a calculation. It's around 32 billion euro of transactions per year, only in the US and in the EU, basically. So it is a huge market for that. And then, while I believe, personally, it is a way to decrease greenwashing, bring transparency, but it doesn't mean that it is perfect. We need to make it better. The systems, they have sort of their own challenges around that. And that's why we have this sort of esprit to develop that, which I will tell you more about that. The commonly accepted system in Europe is called guarantee of origin. Those who knows, I mean, in Swedish it's called Ursprungsgaranti, or any part of the world it calls, in Europe it calls something similar. It's guarantee of the origin of the electricity. It is fully separated from the wholesale market of the electricity and the grid markets or the grid operations on how the physical products are moving. And it accounts from around like 10% of the retail cost, so like 20% of the total energy cost that you would say. And it is a system that is from the directive from the EU that has been implemented since 2003, basically. This one you all know by your heart. So we have 3 scopes of carbon emissions in the world, and then within that, we know that it is super challenging to go to scope 3, and scope 2 is something that I'm talking about the energy sort of consumption on your own premises that you want to verify the source of the consumption, basically. There are 2 ways to verify the source, basically, is either market-based or location-based. Don't take it that it's getting too difficult. No, I mean, it's not. Market-based, it means that on the market environments, you buy energy certificates to verify the source of the consumption. But in location-based, you can go to your specific geographical location and find what is the energy mix on that sort of a specific geographical location. I mean, the main goal from the market-based environments is more like that bring granularity, and in the large systems, you reduce carbon emissions. It is super important to mention that energy certificates are not a mechanism to increase renewables. I can say it by confidence. It is it is a mechanism to bring transparency and traceability to the energy system, which indirectly contributes to the carbon reductions in the energy sector. That's the way it works, and that's the purpose of that. And it's serving that purpose perfectly. If someone claims that energy certificates are meant to reduce the carbon emissions as a policy or incentives, no, that's not right. This is indirectly contribute, giving the awareness and transparency to the consumers. They will choose to go forward with the alternative that is, we believe that it will be renewables because the cost is lower and the sort of the contribution to the environment, basically. But then, I mean, for the location-based, it is more the transparency on the physical location. So you understand that in your premises, what is the grid mix of the electricity? And then, basically, the market base is meant to increase the renewables generally, indirectly. And then when you are talking about the location base, is more you stimulate local renewable generation, basically. Put some solar rooftops or put some storage systems. These are the sort of the actions that you can contribute to the location base. And then on the market base, invest on some sort of big wind farm or just do a large solar sort of solar park as well that contributes to the carbon reductions on that side. And then, I mean, many of our customers at Espritchu, when they want to buy renewable energy certificates, they compare it with offsets. That's the other important topics, basically, to cover. I mean, I told you renewable energy certificates, they are meant for scope 2, but offsets, they go for all the scopes. We have megawatt hour for the energy certificates, is kilotons for the offsets. The purpose, as I mentioned, of the energy certificates is only for traceability. It indirectly contributes to the reductions of the carbon emissions in the energy. But it is not a sort of a policy incentives or feed-in tariff or the sort of other policies to increase renewables. And then it is, I mean, the offsets, you know, it is compensating effects. Renewable energy certificates is only for energy. But then for offsets, you can go to the large perspective of the projects that can be invested. And then the most important thing here is about additionality. That's something maybe a takeaway from today is like that your project is contributing to the exact sort of carbon reductions and the new renewable generations. Energy certificates, they do contribute to that. But then for the carbon offset projects, we need to define the additionality of them. That's a super important takeaway. I mean, there is this CRS that they publish a report, and then they say that for energy certificates, additionality is not required. Why doesn't it require? Because it is connected to a generation from a source. I mean, there should be a meter somewhere connected to a power plant that says that this energy has been generated, so then you would claim that source, basically. So I mean, there is no required for just additionality around that. But then for the carbon offsets, that's a full different picture. I mean, we can debate around that and discuss that, but for the offsets, we do need that. Then I go to this sort of a topic about 24/7. I mean, the energy certificates are our yearly type of products. You aggregate your consumption, you go to the market and you say, I want REC guarantee of origin for this 1 year consumption. But then we need to make these energy certificates to be in hourly basis. And that's the sort of the policy that is moving on and is driving Esprit also moving forward. From both consumer rights, from climate change, and carbon reporting, we need more granular energy certificates as it goes forward. The granular certificates, or 24/7 carbon-free energy, it contributes to increased transparency for the consumer. So at each hour, you know what is the sort of the source of consumption, and then incentivize the storage in the system, and is highly limiting the greenwashing in the systems. And there are benefits of reducing carbon emissions, transparency, motivations of the investments, and the sort of the extra promotion of the storage, and then it does reflect the grid physics. I mean, that's the important topic, because if you aggregate all of the consumption and then you buy a chunk of sort of energy certificates, it doesn't reflect the actual consumption that you have. It might be a different pattern of the consumption with a different pattern of generation that you buy your energy certificates, and that could sort of eliminate a lot of sort of opportunities, basically, even on the grid operations. That's why, I mean, we are developing Esprit, which is a B2B marketplace for energy certificates, in which we decrease 20% of the energy procurement of the energy certificates, and we increase the granularity by 8,760 times from a yearly product to be an hourly product. And then also, we are developing an energy traceability machine, basically, in which we are matching the consumption with generation. We do the auditability full scale on that. We are doing token management with blockchain and advanced AI systems. And then also, we are integrating that to IoT systems, so then on device level, you understand the source of the energy consumption. We are developing very fast, and then we are willing to partner. We are fundraising, and then we have 50% commitment in this round, for example. And with that note, I invite all of you to join us to make energy a truly traceable product. Thank you.